Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Lutz today because Don and Jane, they are currently traveling to Australia, to Hobart, to meet Simon, Kirsten, Abhilash, Gug, Jeremy, Ian, hopefully Elliott, who knows? And they're currently getting to Melbourne and will be soon in Tasmania. So today it's going to be me, and we're going to start at the end of the fleet. As most of you know, probably, Guy Waits successfully hauled out his boat in Cape Town, already removed all the barnacles, and is on to a new anti-fouling with a plan to launch the boat on Monday and then head south and east for continuing in Chichester class. It will be a little bit tricky if we look at the weather forecast for Monday, the 19th. I think it's the 19th or the 18th. No, it's the 19th. He will have a lot of headwinds and mixed up with light winds. So it's going to be a little bit of a tricky start for him, but he should hopefully move a little bit easier, even though they are light winds, since he will have a sleek and clean bottom. If we move further east, we see Sir Robert Knox-Johnson. He has not been updated since the 11th of December, so that's been 5 days. So we will see probably tomorrow or in 2 days another update from Sir Robin and see how Elliott and Ian are holding up against Swahili. For Elliott, probably most of you have heard about the bad news today. His bowsprit unfortunately bent up again. He sent a message in the early hours this morning, today, and then he called later as well, explaining that the leashing broke and some of the metal pipes got bent up, and he will not be able to fix it at sea. He is now assessing his options. Either he continues north-east and then further east to Fremantle, to Australia, or he will go north and then towards the west and go back to South Africa, or maybe Reunion. There are multiple options. He got all the weather information and the weather forecast. I told him how the wind will play out over the next days. He will see a little bit of a blow coming in tomorrow, and then there will be a front, and as soon as the front passes, he will have southerlies, so there will be probably quite confused seas for him, not the easiest conditions, and then he will find himself in some calm weathers, and some calms over Monday and Tuesday, actually reaching out all the way until mid next week. So it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be easy days for Elliott, but he's been in the place before, so it was not a too big shock. I think he sounded very content on the phone, and he's now considering his options, and that's all we know. We will keep you updated, of course, as soon as we have more information, and if he informed us about his plan ahead. Then we have Ian. He is still in quite some heavy weather. He's probably having something like 30, gusting 35, with quite some seas as well. So you can see here the swell is coming up to 4 or 5 meter, and that's not easy. It's tricky conditions. And if we go to tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, we see that there is a wind shift again. And then it's going to be a northwesterlies, and there's a little front coming through as well. So, and after the front passes, if we go further to Sunday noon, or midnight from Saturday to Sunday, the wind is quickly shifting from a northwest to a southwest. So there will be really confused seas, and it won't be easy for him on board. So it will be a bit of a rough weekend for him before he then finds himself next week in very light winds, which will also be probably pretty frustrating for him, to be honest. But we will see that on Monday. Then further in the fleet, we have Jeremy, who's also going to get ready for quite a big weekend. We can see here that he will find himself in some 35, gusting 50. And we have sent him a warning, so he's well aware of it. That's also why he went a bit further north, away from the no-go zone, so he has some space, some space to roam. He will be able to run down the storm, and probably we will see him deviating a bit to the southeast, making a southeasterly course, and then going back to an easterly course as soon as the front passes through, and he will be in westerlies again. But nonetheless, it will not calm down too much for him the next days. As we click through the forecast, there's another low coming through, and then it's going to be next week already until he will be able to enjoy a bit more favorable winds. Also for him, big seas, confusing seas as the wind shifts from a northwest to a southwest, so not an easy weekend for him. Gug, on the other side, he's quite a bit further in front of Jeremy. At the moment, we see him actually nearly 700 miles in front of him, so he must have been able to make some ground onto Jeremy. And he has also now all the options on the table, since he's east of the no-go zone, so he's free to go south if he likes, if he dares. And at the moment, he should be enjoying quite enjoying the conditions. He's doing 6 knots. He's in a breeze, a good 15 to 20 knots breeze. But quite some swell as well. So that will be a bit of an annoyer there. But at least there's still some wind, and 15-20 knots is a good breeze. So he might be able to. He should be able to just follow the seas, and it will be interesting to hear what kind of sail combinations he had up in these conditions. Temperature-wise, since I clicked on it by accident a little bit, we see that they're all about some 10, 11 degrees Celsius. So it's getting a little bit chilly. For Abhilash, Kirsten, Jeremy, it's all the same. And they already reporting that they're putting out their merino underwear, their exploration gear, and that they have to zip up a bit. Because it's quite chilly nights already for them. While we are clicking through the options here, we also see the clouds. It's quite interesting because the guys and girls, they have been reporting that they haven't always been they haven't had best conditions to navigate by sextant to see the stars. But Gug should get some good sights in the next days. He might be able to get a good fix. Kirsten and Abhilash, they're going to be covered a bit with clouds, so it's going to be a bit more tricky for them. And talking about Abhilash and Kirsten, there's something really interesting happening at the front of the fleet. Because we've seen for the last 2 days that Kirsten and Abhilash, they have been really, really, really making ground onto Simon. Because poor Simon, unfortunately, he's absolutely stuck in that high pressure. It's a little bit interesting because he reported 2 days ago that he got a weather forecast from Australia. So he should have known that there's the high pressure there, but maybe it was already too late. Maybe he got caught already, and it's very hard to escape the hole if you're already just making like a couple of knots. He was yesterday or this morning, I think, or last night, he was making 0.2, 0.3 knots. And when we go to the statistics, we already see that Kirsten and Abhilash, they have made like 270 miles onto Simon and catching up with him very, very quickly. And we see that Abhilash, he must have received some weather information as well. He's probably picking up the weather information from Australia as well. Kirsten reported that she got a weather fax, so she's very well aware where the high pressure system sits. And they both have changed their course, altered their course to a east-southeast course. And they're doing very well. It looks like they're doing very well to do a little slingshot, trying to get into Hobart. So Simon, at the moment, 3 knots. It was quite interesting. He said the other day, I think Spinnaker I won't be able to use the Spinnaker. And maybe he's having the Spinnaker up now. We will see. We'll ask him next week. Because at the moment, he has not much wind, but at least also he has not the big of swell. We can see in the forecast that it's probably just 1 to 1.5 meter, and probably quite a long period. So it's not too annoying, maybe. And he also said in a SMS that he's not too fed up with it, because he's just taking care of the boat. He's fixing things that he had planned to do in Hobart. So he's making good use of the time. But yeah, hey, the race is back on. Abhilash, Kirsten, Simon, they're all gaining on, Kirsten and Abhilash, they're gaining on Simon. So I think it's going to be a very interesting weekend to watch what happens. How far can Kirsten catch up onto Simon? Will Simon be able to escape the high pressure system? And then also the big question, are they going to be able to get into Hobart? Because if we go to tomorrow midnight, so Saturday, Sunday, we see that the high pressure system is moving to the east, and it's giving very light winds across Tasmania. And if we then further move to the 19th of December, we see that, the wind is really getting light next week, and it will be very interesting how and when they're going to get into Hobart. Also, we see that Simon, he will be facing headwinds, so probably not a lot of sea state. That's the good news. But yeah, he will be in headwinds again, so that should bring some memories of the Atlantic, the North and the South Atlantic. But we will see next week. So thanks a lot, and I hope you all have a very, very lovely weekend. And we're gonna talk each other next week. Thank you. Bye bye.